Done now, where there are now fears of acute food shortages after the series of devastating floods have led to just over 1,200 deaths. Pakistan's climate change minister said the floods have destroyed 45% of Pakistan's croplands. Our correspondent Pumza Fihlani reports from Dadu, that's close to the Indus River.
Finally on safe ground, but Kareem is injured. It takes a group of people to carefully help her out of the boat. She's shaken and disoriented.
One of the walls fell on my leg. I was stuck there and couldn't move for days. I've lost everything. I thought I was going to die.
Kareem is then treated by medics. Officials say 80% of Dadu is already underwater and it's spreading to more villages. People need saving and there isn't much time. The military, aid agencies and villagers are all part of a frenzy to evacuate those stranded. We join them.
Just look at all this water. It's like being in the middle of the ocean, except just over there are people's houses, and there are many more in far-flung communities, and the water levels here in Dadu are rising, and officials say around 250,000 people are at risk of drowning unless they can get them out to safety.
After some time searching, we come across a village. Tens climb on board, but not everyone can make the trip. Some have left relatives behind.
I left everyone behind, but I'm worried because I don't know when the next boat will arrive and when I'll be able to return to them. But I have to go and find food for us. We are going hungry.
On our way to dry land, we come across more people and pick them up.
With some of its most severe heat waves that it's seen since 1961, and they have been parching the provinces all along the country's longest river. So that is the Yangtze River. So those areas which are in central and southwestern parts of China rely heavily on hydropower. So the authorities there have been ordering power rationing for factories and supply chains. They've been telling factories to suspend or reduce operations, to cut working hours, grant high temperature holidays for staff, and then all of this, of course, to cope with limited electricity until August 24th. So that's next Wednesday. The area is home to suppliers for Apple, Intel, Tesla, as well as Toyota. And the authorities have said that the power rationing is only until next Wednesday, but the higher level authorities here have said that they're not sure if this drought will last until September. So it's still very unclear as to how long the power rationing is going to last. Becky?
Scorching temperatures sweep over China, turning mass COVID testing into a dangerous task. State media shows COVID workers collapsing on the job due to what the videos say are heat stroke. In eastern China, a COVID worker vomits on the ground as colleagues rush to tear off her hazmat suit. Unable to stand, she's carried away. It's a scene playing out across China. Fainting, falling, crumpling on the ground, lying motionless, struggling to breathe. The COVID workers' long hours in the suffocating heat made worse by their head-to-toe full body protective gear. That is not water, according to state media. It's sweat gushing out of this worker's hazmat suit. The sweat pools inside the protective gear, lining the inside of their rubber gloves. The surging temperatures coinciding with surging COVID cases. The damage to China's crop production threatens to push up inflation, putting more pressure on an economy already devastated by the pandemic. But in zero COVID China, even healthcare workers hospitalized from heat exhaustion get a positive spin from authorities. This propaganda video shows government officials visiting COVID workers in the intensive care unit. While showing the motionless patients in bed, the video rallies people to work together for victory against COVID.
Are from Berlin, the capital of Germany. Once illuminated with spotlights, today it's a desolate spectacle. The lights have been dimmed. The monuments have gone dark. This is Berlin trying to stave off the energy crisis, escape the troubling reality of depleting reserves. Before the war was started, 55% of Germany's energy supplies came from Russia. As of June 2022, the supplies had been reduced to a meager 26%. As winter approaches and the war intensifies, the supplies are expected to fall further. And Germany is yet to find a concrete alternative. So, to survive the dip in mercury and hold on to its gas reserves, Germany is undertaking a raft of measures. They include a ban on heating private swimming pools, a ban on heating at some public buildings, lowering the minimum office temperature to 19 degrees Celsius, and switching off most streetlights. Same story in France. Declining gas supplies from Russia have led to a colossal spike in energy bills. The French government has unveiled a series of initiatives to tackle this. By October this year, French supermarkets will switch off illuminated billboards. Retail spaces will reduce lighting by 30%, and shops will lower temperatures to 17 degrees Celsius. In Italy, where elections are due in September, the authorities are treading carefully. Their energy savings plan includes steps like extending the life of coal plants, temporarily halting work at factories, and shortening heating hours at workplaces. In Spain, which is not as dependent on Russian energy supplies, the reserves are being safeguarded in case the war spills over. How are they doing this? By limiting air conditioning at airports and train stations, requiring shop doors to be closed when the AC is on, switching off lights on shop windows at night, and limiting heating at schools and hospitals. These 4 countries are not alone. They're joined by several others in reducing energy consumption, like Switzerland, Finland, Sweden, Denmark, the Netherlands, Austria, and Greece.